All right, let's jump straight into this explainer. Today, we're going to reframe data management because honestly, it's not some tedious admin chore. It's actually the ultimate reputation-saving superpower for your research. I mean, too often we only focus on the exciting parts, right? Collecting the data, discovering the big results. But the truth is, everything that happens in between, how you organize, how you store, and how you secure that data, that's literally what determines if your results are valid in the first place.
Just picture this for a second. Imagine your laptop crashes the night before a massive deadline. Or say a committee member asks you to verify a specific theme from an interview, and you open up your files only to realize a crucial spreadsheet column is completely unlabeled. No names, no codes. Suddenly you have absolutely no idea which data belongs to which participant. Months of work. Just gone. Poof. It's a nightmare scenario, but poor data management will undermine even the most brilliantly designed study because lost files, inconsistent labeling, mixed up transcripts, they completely compromise the trustworthiness of your findings. It really doesn't matter how incredible your initial research question was if you can't rely on the actual data sitting right in front of you. So, protecting and organizing your research data, it's not just paperwork. It is a core professional responsibility that you hold as a researcher. You owe it to the participants who trusted you with their sensitive info, you owe it to the integrity of the scientific process itself, and for sure, you owe it to any future researchers who might want to verify or build on your work later on.
So here's our roadmap for today's explainer. First, the unsung hero of research. 2, the data management lifecycle. 3, handling numbers and words. 4, securing and backing up data. And 5, building your master plan.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, the unsung hero of research. Now, have you ever been tempted to clean up a spreadsheet by editing the only copy of your raw data? Come on, we've all thought about it. Or maybe you started switching up your naming conventions halfway through a study because you suddenly thought of a better way to do it. And storing participant names right next to their actual survey responses? Huge confidentiality risk. But perhaps the most calming trap of all is waiting until a file actually corrupts to finally set up a backup. By definition, that is always going to be too late. Moving right along to Section 2, the data management lifecycle. Managing data isn't just a one-and-done event. It's a continuous lifecycle. Notice how planning happens right at step 1, long before any collection begins. You've got to decide exactly how data will be named and stored before you ever speak to a single participant. Then comes collection and organization, where you're systematically labeling from the very first file. Next up, cleaning, which is where you check for missing values or errors way before you ever run an analysis. Once you apply your coding or stats during the analysis phase, you finally move to storage and archiving, keeping everything totally secure according to the ethical commitments you made. Okay, Section 3, handling numbers and words. Because what works perfectly for a survey is basically a disaster for an interview transcript. Quantitative data demands incredibly rigid, well-documented spreadsheet structures. We're talking strictly 1 row per participant, 1 column per variable, and absolutely no merged cells. You'll also need strict codebooks to define every single variable. Now, qualitative data, on the other hand, is a whole different beast. It relies heavily on prompt transcription using agreed-upon conventions, running detailed audit trails to document exactly how your themes evolve, and crucially, early anonymization to protect participant confidentiality right from the jump. And it turns out your software choice really needs to scale to your specific study size. Working with numbers? You might use Excel for the basics, but you're going to want to scale up to SPSS or R for heavy statistical lifting. Dealing with text? Dedicated software like NVivo or Atlas TI is just phenomenal for systematically managing your coding across huge sets of transcripts. But regardless of your data type, everyday tools like Zotero for reference management and encrypted cloud storage for your backups, those are absolute universal necessities. All right, Section 4, securing and backing up data. I really want you to burn this concept into your brain. Treat your untouched original files like a sacred artifact sitting behind museum glass. Never, ever edit them directly. Always work on a copy. You absolutely must use clear version numbers and dates in your file names, like V1_2026-0110, so that original artifact is preserved as a permanent unaltered record. If you mess up while cleaning the data, you can always go back to the original. And honestly, a disciplined folder structure is going to save your life.
By numbering your folders chronologically, starting with O1_raw data, going to O2_clean data, all the way through to O6_write-up, it naturally keeps your most restricted files separated from your everyday work. So things like signed consent forms and participant logs, which sit in folder O5, are completely isolated from your daily analysis drafts. Everything has a specific home. Nothing gets accidentally exposed or overwritten.
A massive part of that security is de-identification. Doing this early, replacing actual names with participant codes, is an absolute must for maintaining confidentiality. It ensures that even if a single analytic file is somehow breached, the identifying info isn't dragged out with it. And of course, always pair this practice with password-protected devices or secure encrypted cloud storage. Now, when it comes to actually saving these folders, you have to follow the golden rule of data management. It's 3 simple numbers that will literally save your academic career, the 3-2-1 backup principle.
Here is exactly how this works. You keep at least 3 copies of your data. You spread them across 2 different types of media. So for example, your primary laptop hard drive and an external drive that you keep locked in a desk drawer. Then, crucially, you keep at least 1 copy stored entirely off-site, like in an institutional encrypted cloud account. By doing this, you guarantee that a stolen laptop, a flood, or even just your cat knocking a cup of coffee onto your keyboard never results in losing months of hard work.
Finally, Section 5. Building your master plan. We also have to talk about the future of research, which is undeniably heading toward open science. These days, a lot of journals and funders actually expect you to make your data available to others. So if you intend to participate in open science and share your findings later, you've got to build anonymization into your plan from day one. Trying to retroactively de-identify data after a study is completely finished, it is incredibly difficult and super risky. Plan for it from the very start.
So how does all this come together in the real world? Well, let's look at a mixed method study as a worked example. Here, quantitative surveys and qualitative transcripts are perfectly unified under one secure 3-2-1 backed-up plan. The 200 quantitative surveys go straight into a master spreadsheet with a protected codebook. Meanwhile, the 15 qualitative interviews are transcribed promptly and instantly logged with participant codes. Both of these distinct data types are then routed into the exact same secure encrypted cloud structure, and they get backed up to an external drive every single week.
All right, so here is your definitive checklist to take away today. Follow this exact step-by-step procedure for your own research. Number 1, write your plan before you collect a single piece of data. 2, separate identifiers from analytics. 3, lock in that folder structure. 4, set up those 3-2-1 backups. 5, keep a running log of every single cleaning and coding decision you make. And 6, review your security against your ethics approval. By sticking to this, if your findings are ever questioned, you can flawlessly trace them all the way back through your audit trail to the raw data.
I want to leave you with this one final thought today. Think about the files currently sitting on your computer right now. Take a really hard look at your own files today and ask yourself, is your hard work truly secure? Or are you just one crashed hard drive, one spilled cup of coffee away from total disaster? Build your data management plan today and just make sure your research is ready for whatever happens next.